Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Today we're going to continue our discussion on Introduction to Time Series Analysis. We have already discussed a brief introduction to it. We said that time series analysis is very important because many of the economic, financial data are are in time series form. I'm not sure if I discussed with you the distinction between a cross-sectional data. Okay, let me just review that in case I didn't discuss it with you. Cross-sectional data, cross-sectional, and you have time series data and panel data. So these three types of data are very much utilized in business, in economics, in finance. Okay, so what's the difference between them? So in terms of the units or individuals being considered, being studied, and also in terms of the time frame. Okay, for cross-sectional data, okay, we're looking at several units. Okay, many units, and then one time period. Okay, so for example, you're taking a look at let's say population growth or fertility rate or literacy rate. If you're looking at several countries in your study, for example, Asia, and then you're taking a look at it on one time frame, let's say 2023, you'd like to study the birth rate, the death rate, the literacy rate of these countries in Asia in 2023. Then you classify that as a cross-sectional data because you have several units, the countries in Asia, and then only one time frame, only one period, 1 year, which is 2023. On the other hand, a time series takes a look at only one individual unit and several time periods. So let's focus on the Philippines, for example. So you take a look at the Philippines, you take a look at birth rate, death rate, literacy rate. Okay, so only one country. However, you're taking a look at it from 1970, let's say, up to 2023. So we have one unit being considered, one individual, which is the Philippines, and then you're taking a look at it from several time periods, from 1970 to 2023. So that's what we call a time series. And finally, a panel data is a combination of several units and several time frames. Going back to our example, you have all the countries in Asia, so that's M, many units. And then you take a look at their GDP, GNP, birth rate, some macroeconomic data. And then from 1970 to 2023. So they both entail several units, several individuals, and several time periods. This gives us a panel data. Okay. In the first few sessions we'll have, we're going to focus on, time series data. So time series data can also be univariate or multivariate. We're first going to model a univariate time series data and then go into multivariate time series data also. After this, we go to portfolio optimization based on your syllabus. Okay, so last time what we did was to learn how to install and load a package. If you check your packages, I think last time we loaded this. Okay, can you check quant mode if we have installed quant mode? May I have your feedback, please? Okay, good. So yes, we have loaded installed quant mode. Now, when you opened your computer class, quant mode has not yet been loaded. It has already been installed but not loaded. So you'll still have to load or you still have to load using the library function or require function, or clicking here, for example, ASTSA, that's your here, applied statistical time series analysis. In my case, it's already checked because I loaded this with the prior section. In your case, most probably it will not yet be checked. It's installed but not yet loaded. And we said that you can only make use of the functions of ASTSA if you load it. All right. So one way to load it and install and load at the same time, okay, is use the pacman function pload. Okay, so kindly run this, please. I'm going to run this. Run, and then quite fast. There you go. Pload. So it loaded. It both installed. So if that particular package is not yet installed, then it will install it and then load it. So kindly check, class, if these packages ASTSA, TTR, XTS, tidyverse, quant mode are already loaded. They should appear, they should be checked here. So let me type quant mode. There you go. Quant mode is already available. Okay. May I have your response, please, if the packages are ready? Thank you. All right. Okay. So last time, I think we took a look at this data. Okay, this is J&J quarterly EPS. Now, I want you to first go to ASTSA. ASTSA, applied statistical time series analysis. This data J&J, we said, came from ASTSA. If I click this, class, you'll find here the functionalities that come with it, this package, and also some data. One of them is JJ, Johnson & Johnson's earnings per share. Now, we said that you can only access this if ASTSA is loaded. So if I detach first, so let's detach. Okay, ASTSA, sorry, under packages, I'm going to detach this. So by unclicking this, you see that the code is detached. Then from the package ASTSA, and then unload is equal to true. Now, what we did last time was to access JJ data. Okay, if ASTSA ASTSA is not loaded, then will you be able to access the data JJ? The answer is no. Okay, no, we cannot, because JJ, which is found in ASTSA, the package housing JJ is not yet loaded. So we have to load this first. There you go. Okay, so it's already attached ASTSA. And then if we run this, Control Enter, then what appears here in your environment window is JJ. Okay. And so which means that we know that the object JJ is already loaded. In order to view it, we can type JJ or print JJ. Okay, so let's do that. When we print JJ, automatically the environment completely loads the data. So it's a time series data. Okay. And what data type is this? It's a vector, class. It's a vector, and I hope you have watched the video. A vector is a type of data. It's a structure of data containing only one row of elements or data that are similar. So it can be all numerical data, all character data, all logical values. If you have that type of a data, that is called a vector. So this is a time series vector. Okay, and we can also use the view function, view JJ, and here we're told that JJ is it's a time series object. These are the values, first 6 values, I think, and then the the data inside JJ has a type of has what we call double type. Okay, double is used for numerical data that 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 can take on decimal places, unlike integer, okay, which cannot take on decimal places. All right. Now going back to, let me just close this. Okay. And we can get the structure. We did this last time. Structure of JJ tells us that this is time series, yeah, from 1960 to 1981. Okay. Now, if let me remove JJ, RM, JJ. So remove this RM. So since JJ is already present here, I can remove that, control enter. Okay, you now see that in the environment, we don't have JJ. Now, okay, what happens if I don't course it through data? Okay, what if I don't course it through data, but I just use JJ? What will happen if I just issue the command JJ? Control enter. Notice that the elements of the data was printed there. So this is JJ. It contains quarterly data from 1960 to 1980. Okay, that's your quarterly data. However, okay, there was no object created as JJ here. Okay, so this was a question in the previous section. Okay, so no object JJ. So you cannot access, you can access JJ, okay, if your package is loaded. Let me tell you the distinction. All right, a while ago I said that if this is not loaded, okay, we cannot run JJ. Control enter. There. Okay, error, object JJ not found. Okay, however, if we load JJ, so for example, okay, once again, I run JJ, okay, this one. So data JJ, okay, sorry, it's not working again because I haven't loaded this package. Let me load it, and then let me run this. Okay, so JJ is already here, right? So JJ is already here. Okay, now what will happen if I detach this ASTSA? If I detach ASTSA, JJ is still loaded, okay, in our environment. Okay, so if I have it printed JJ, okay, what happens? It still prints, even if the package ASTSA is detached. It's not loaded. So since JJ is already saved in our in the memory class, then we can access JJ even if the package has been detached. Okay, so that's what I wanted to point out because that was asked a while ago, and I think it's worth discussing that. So the importance of creating an object, okay, especially those coming from a package, is that even if the package is detached, that object will still be available. Okay, so what we did last time was also to plot JJ, and this was how the data looked like. It seems to be there seems to be a trend. Okay, the earnings seems to be going up from 1960 to 1981. And one of the objectives of our lesson is to be able to create a model for this time series. Okay, so we'll be creating a model for in particular more on returns of stock prices. But if you know how to create a model for that type of an object, then the modeling will be generic for any type of object. Okay, so another example also comes from the ASTSA object. So I'll give you a few a few seconds to write this. So let's run data gtempland, and definitely we will not be able to run it because it's not ASTSA in my case is not loaded. So just to give you an example, if I run this, okay, not found. Okay. If I just type gtemp ocean, again, not found. Why? Because gtemp land or gtemp ocean comes from the ASTSA package. So once again, if I load this, okay, so if I run gtemp land, control enter, and in our environment, you can see that we now have gtemp land here, okay, because we use the function data in order to load it to our environment. Had we just used this one, for example, okay, let me remove first gtemp land, or let me use gtemp both. Okay, so there's a function, there's an object called gtemp both also in ASTSA. Okay, if I run this class, notice I did not use data. Okay, let me type this gtemp. Okay, notice that when I type the first few letters, Excel, R has intelligence. It's able to suggest what object we'd like to access. So I want, let's say, ocean here. So I just press down arrow, ocean, and then tab. So there you go. Okay. Now take note, we were able to access this because we loaded ASTSA. Control enter. What happens? Okay, if you just type the name of the object gtemp ocean, you notice that it does not create an object here. It did not create gtemp ocean. However, it printed it here. It printed gtemp ocean. Printed gtemp ocean, but did not create the object here. So what's the disadvantage? If we detach this class, gtemp ASTSA, and if you try to print gtemp ocean, control enter, error. Okay, error because R could not recognize gtemp ocean since ASTSA is not loaded. Okay, let me load it again. So just by typing the name and printing it, okay, if the package is loaded, it will print it. However, it will not save it, okay, in your directory. If I, on the other hand, create an object, let's say GO for gtemp ocean, note that R will recognize gtemp ocean because ASTA is loaded. And in this code, we're telling R to create this object called Go to represent gtemp ocean. So if I run this, control enter, notice now that you have Go here, there. You have Go here. It created this object, Go, and the content of Go is the same as gtemp ocean. Okay. All right. So we also have gtemp land. We can plot this. So same with your J and J, JJ. All right. Okay, let me pause for a while and ask you if you are able to follow along. Feedback, please, class, if my pace is okay. All right, thank you. Okay, so good. Now, now let's move on. Okay, thank you. Okay, so in the ASTA, TSA asked sub package, you have Gtemp Ocean, you have Gtemp Land, you have Gtemp both. So this is just to plot your Gtemp Ocean, okay, and Gtemp both. In this case, we have an existing Gtemp, not named as Gtemp Ocean, but GO, okay, and we don't have this Gtemp both. Okay, hold on, class. Okay, all right. So you may wish to try to plot this Gtemp Ocean and Gtemp both. Okay, I'll give you a few seconds to do that. And once you're done, okay. Anyway, it's just different data, but it's the same code, it's the same command as the Gtemp plan. Okay, I'll give you a few seconds to do that, to replicate that. And when you're done, kindly please chat, please. Okay, are you done? Waiting for your response, class. Right, thank you. Okay, thank you so much, class. Now, moving on. Another example, class, of a time series data. This time, it's 0.1 interval, 0.1 seconds. So there are 100 observations here. It's just recording the phrase aha, okay? Aha, 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 1,000 1,000 times at 0.1 second interval. So if we plot this, plot, okay, once again, I'll give you time. Notice I'm not I'm not sharing, okay, I'm not sharing many of the codes with you because I want you to be writing them on your own for practice and for familiarity. And once again, when you're done with the plot, kindly please uh, write in the chat box if you're done. You should also be getting this plot. Okay, good. So time series analysis require that we are able to use tools in order to model or to recreate this or to plot this using a using a model Okay, using a model for patterns that have for time series that have patterns like this, it would be a bit easier to plot time series like this as compared to those that are really very irregular. Okay, now let's go to an example in finance. So we're moving towards the use of this powerful package called Quant Mode. So kindly go there, class, please. In the packages window, let's take a look at Quant Mode. Quant Mode is quantitative financial modeling framework. So what does this contain? Let's, let's click this, and here is the content. Okay. If you click description, it tells us that this is a quantitative financial modeling framework. You have the current version, the dependence. Okay. It's used to specify, build, trade, and analyze quantitative financial trading strategies. So this is more on investments, trading. Okay. But this is also useful for stock analysis. All right. So going back here to the packages, quant mode, you can see that there are many, okay, many functions or many commands that you can use in order, depending on what you need or what you want. For example, this one. So you can add, say, Bollinger Bands, okay? You can add moving average, convergence, divergence. You can add relative strength index. These are these are plots that's used in technical analysis. So quant mode is such a powerful uh, package. Let's go to a function here that we're going to use. Here, you have here get symbols. If I click this, you can see that uh, there are other get symbols here. Get symbols Alpha Vantage, get symbols Bloomberg, get symbols CV, get symbols Fred, etc. So a lot of functionalities that come with the get symbols function, which loads and manage data from multiple sources. Let's click this. Okay. So what does this do? Get symbols. It's a function to load and manage symbols in specified environment. Okay. So you can download stock prices coming from Yahoo Finance. Before you can do that with Google Finance, but that service has been cut. So we can only get data from Yahoo, not from Google, MySQL, Fred, CSV, our data, Wanda, and AV. Okay, these are Fred is also a very powerful, good database. Okay, so you can see here the syntax. Get symbols, you have to know the ticker symbol. Okay, then there are others here that may not be needed that much. Source is equal to Yahoo, which is the default. So even if you don't put this, it will still attempt to get that data from Yahoo. And then auto data assign. So these are the syntax for get symbols, which we're going to use in a while. And there are examples here. Okay, for example, get symbols, QQQ, Okay, you can run this and get data from Yahoo Finance. So let's go here. Let's go here to our, okay, as an example, let's use get symbols in order to get stock prices of Apple. Okay, so you write get symbols and then AAPL, and then I'll give you a minute to decipher what will happen. What do you get? With just a simple line of code, get symbols, and let's discuss what you got. Okay. When you're done, class, I want you to write what object was registered here in the environment. Is it values or is it uh, under a different type of data? Can you please write in the chat box, please? What type of data and what's the name of the data? Okay. And what's the name of the data, please? Okay. Okay, good. Okay, good. Good. All right. I hope others are able to follow. Okay, you're correct. The get symbols function will give us a data set and it named it Apple, AAPL. So if I run this, so it will not be under the values classification, but under data classification. So we can conclude that as far as values is concerned, it's more for vectors. Okay. On the other hand, for data, as the name suggests, it's an XS object, or it can be for data frames, for matrices, for lists. Those are the ones that will be recorded under the data in the environment. Okay, so now we can use the function view. Okay, view AAPL, or we can what I can do is to click this one in the environment in the data. You can click this one. So let's go ahead and click this one and tell me what happens. What is clicking this icon equivalent to? What's the code for that? If I click this. Okay, you kindly chat, please. Clicking this, class, it's equivalent to, yes, correct, view, right? View. So I'll click this, see view Apple. And then you have here the data. It's from January 3, 2007 up to January 17, 2025. 17, that was a Friday. So in the US, it's just 20 now. In our case, it's 21. So they're just finishing their trade. So that's why there's no recorded January 20 yet. So these are completed days. January 17 was the last trading day, and we have, so this is updated really. If tomorrow you once again use get symbols and then access any other stock or data, then the date that will be reflected will be uh, January 20. Kasi ina-update to eh. It's always updated. Okay, so this is the data that we get. Quite easy. Apple open, high, low, close, volume, and adjusted. So there are 4,541 rows of observation. And there are 6 columns here. 41 rows of observation, and then 6 columns. Okay, open, high, low, close, etc. All right. Now we can get other, let's get other data, for example, get symbols. And then we have to use, if you're going to access more than one, then you use this one, meta, for example, C, which means concatenate, and let's say Tesla. So meta and Tesla. Same thing, get symbols. All right. You click that, what happens? We get 2 objects, meta and Tesla, here in your environment. And they're also they're also XS objects. But notice the start date of Meta is different. Also Tesla's. It's different from Apple. Okay, so if I once again print this. So what happened here? Why is this dated June 29, 2010? Okay, last day is same. Same last day. Okay, so for Tesla, 2012, December 3. Now it coincides with the date of perhaps, no? Most probably it's a date of being listed in the stock exchange. That's why the information was available since it became public. Same thing with Meta. Meta, 2012, okay, May 18. Okay, but Apple, 27, 2007, that was not the date Apple was listed. It was before year 2000. So what's the difference? So for those companies that who were listed before 2007, R does a cutoff. It only provides data from 2007, beginning of trading 2007. So that's January 3. So you notice that Meta, sorry, if I get another one, let's say get symbols, and let's say Microsoft, MSFT. Microsoft was listed also before 2007. So control enter, a new object appears here, Microsoft, and it's the same from 2007. Okay, let me print this. Here, Microsoft, 2007 also. The same as Apple. Why? Why? Uh, for those stocks that were listed before the first trading day of 2007, it will only reflect 2007 January 3. Now, are you able still to get the stock prices before that? Yes, which we're going to show you in a while. So why 2007? It's just the well option of R. So and that changes. So for example, next year you once again use get symbols. Most probably you'll have the first listed date of 2008 because it keeps on moving by 1 year. Okay, so for now, until until the end of this year, when you, for example, use get symbols for Apple, you'll still have '07, 2007, okay, '01, '03 as a starting date. However, the ending date will be different. The ending date will always be updated. In this case, it was the last trading day, which was last Friday. Okay. As I said, now it's just January 20 in the US. Okay. So is this clear, class? May I have your feedback, please? If getting the stock prices using get symbols is okay. Okay, good. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So let's go back here. Now let's try to see what type of object is Apple, okay? The one that was created. Okay, thank you, everyone. So what type of object is this? So if we use the structure function, remember we use this also in pressure, structure, you can now see that it gives a description of what type of object Apple is. So it's an XTS object. XTS stands for extensible time series. So that's what we mean by XTS, extensible time series. All right. So it's an extensible time series uh, starting with January 3, 2007, ending at 2025-01-17. Of course, if you once again get symbols for Apple on Friday, the date will now be different because uh, R will keep on updating the date. All right. So the data is, as I said, double, which means it can take on decimal places. Okay. There are 4541 rows of observations and 6 columns. Okay, the columns being open, high, low, close, volume, and adjusted. Now, I'd like to ask you something. Okay, let's this time let's use data in order to access the object pressure. Remember this, class? Data pressure. Okay. Taking so long. Okay, here. Mhm. And then let's do this. Or view or just yes, view. Let's view it there. Plus 19 observations of 2 variables. If I view it, class, you have pressure. Now let's compare this with Microsoft or with Apple and see what's the difference between the two. Okay, I'll give you a few seconds to try to decipher. What do you think is the difference between the pressure data set and Microsoft or Apple or whatever data set? Any difference? What do you notice, class? Any comment? Okay, before you answer that, let's get the structure of pressure. You can get the structure because pressure is also under data, okay? And if we get the structure, it's a data frame. If you watch the video class, you should know by now what's a data frame. Okay, it's a matrix or columnar representation of your data. Each row of observation is unique in itself. Okay. So there are 19 observations of 2 variables. It's a data frame. The variables are temperature, which is numeric, and also pressure, which is also numeric. So this is a data frame. But how does that compare with MSFT? How is the Microsoft Extensibles time series different from the pressure data set? Any answers, please? Okay, we have one. All right, Chloe, could you kindly please unmute yourself? Could you share and please speak down to the microphone?
Sir, my chat po kanina was to answer your question po regarding the observation on what's the difference when
Yeah,
you
yeah,
control
but
enter
yeah, but I want you to verbalize that and share it with the class.
on the difference po.
Yes.
So if you control enter the data pressure, it will pop up in your environment where the values data are. And if you control enter the view pressure, a data will pop up where we are typing the
Oh,
one on the
okay.
left upper left.
Okay, so your what you're distinguishing pressure and Microsoft from is the way the data appeared, no? In the environment.
Yes.
Is that what you mean? Okay, sige. All right, so that's one difference. But aside from that, class, what's another very clear difference between pressure, okay, and MSFT, or for that matter, meta? What do you notice about their difference? Yes, Christian, please.
Sir, try lang.
Yeah,
Ah,
sure, go ahead.
yung sa Meta is a time series and the one for pressure is a data frame po.
Okay. Pressure is a data frame and meta is
Yes.
a time series. All
Yes
right.
po.
That might be true. However, thank you, Christian. It's also possible that this is a time series. Only we lack information about this. We don't know if this was taken, let's say, on January 1 or at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. Yeah, that's possible. However, in the interest of, uh, however, we were not conclusive about this. So Christian might be correct in saying that this is more a this is not a time series because it's not we don't have a time component here, unlike Microsoft. All right. So if you look, class, at the pressure, this is a data frame. So you should know by now what a data frame is. You're supposed to have rows and columns. Okay? It's in matrix or columnar form, and then each row is a unique observation. Okay, and you have names for your columns. So this is a data frame. For Microsoft, for example, yes, in a sense, you have names for your variables. However, the main distinction is that if you take a look at the index of your pressure data frame, it's just the chronological, it's just a numerical one counting numbers lang, 1 up to 19. While for the extensible time series, which is Microsoft, you notice that the index is the date and time. Time, okay? Date, I mean. Okay? Which is not the same as pressure. And this is significant because before, when you're working with time series and the date is is part of the variable, now you have another column here, date. Sometimes it's quite really challenging to work with time series where you have a separate column for your date and time. Unlike this one, it's indexed. So it makes working with time series, in particular an XS object, really very a lot easier. Okay. If you compare this with, for example, pressure, let's assume it's a time series and then you have here date, okay, date in this column or even time, then it makes processing this data, pressure, in case there's a separate date and time here, to be more unwieldy and to be more difficult. Unlike in a XS object, it really makes the processing very easy. Okay, so if you take a look once again at the where's that? The structure here, structure of Meta here, plus structure of Apple. So it's an XS object, which means extensible time series, and the XS object. Okay, what makes it distinct is that the index, class, here, your index is the date. There you go. Okay, so it's a date. The data is double, can take on decimal places, 4,401 rows and 6 columns. The columns are your open, high, low, close, volume, and adjusted. And then the index, as I mentioned a while ago, is a date, 4,045, 41 rows of dates. And the time zone is UTC, Universal Time. Universal Time. Let's see. I, I always forget. See, Universal Time Convention. Okay, and this is the new name for GMT. Okay, maybe you're familiar with the Greenwich Meridian Time. Okay, where everything is based on the sa longitude, yung longitude longitude ng it it touches Greenwich, it touches London, so that's your time zero. Philippines, for example, is GMT plus 8. So it's If it's, let's say, 2 o'clock now here, in London, it will be -8, okay, because we're +8. Okay, so that would mean it's around 6 o'clock. If it's 2 o'clock here, then 2 p.m., it means that it's 6 o'clock in London, unless there's a DST, daylight savings time. All right, then XTS attributes, we say XTS class, extensible time series. You have the source, this is coming from Yahoo, and the type of date is POSIX CT. POSIX CT, the format of this is, okay, it didn't show it here, but it should show here. Okay, let me repeat this. Structure of meta. Okay, here. POSIX CT means it can take on not only years, months, and days, but also hours, minutes, and seconds. So which means this is a very powerful data type, especially when you're dealing with what do you call that? There's a name for that. This type of trading where you account for Cassandra, I'll mute you first. Where you deal with trading even by the second. Okay, so this is very powerful for that type of trading. All right, so let's now learn more about the get symbols function. All right, so I want you to copy this first. I did give this purposely because I want you to be able to copy this, and then once you copy it, once you have copied it, please run it, class. Run it and tell me what object do you get. Waiting for your feedback, class. So if you run this, I'm going to run it. Okay, let me show my environment. If I run this, I now have this object DJIA. Okay, it's this object that we created here, small letter DJIA, and it's also an XS object. Let's check what's inside this. So it's from April 20, 2006. So it's it's earlier than 2007. So which means that we can get stock prices earlier than 2007, especially if the company or that asset or that index has already been listed before on that date. So this is only until April 19. Okay, so which means that maybe there was no data on April 20. Okay, so what's this, class? So it's coming from quant mode, same thing. So now we could, of course, we could have deleted this. I just did this in purpose so that you know how to let's say code. It's like coding that I want to use the quant mode package and then double colon the function get symbols. Okay, and then Dow Jones Industrial Average has this ticker symbol caret DJI. Okay, quite unique. And then we identify the from. Okay, from what date up to what date. So you can specify the date you'd like your stock download to be. If that date is available, then R will give that. Okay. And then here, notice that this is periodicity is equal to daily. Okay. The good thing about quant mode is that you can download weekly data, monthly data, quarterly data, and semi-annual data, if I'm not mistaken, but not yearly data. Okay. And then there's a strange function here called auto.assign is equal to false. Okay, I'll discuss this. Okay, and what this is used for. Now, auto.assign class is equal to false. Is used if you want to give a name to your stock. Okay, if you want to give it a name by yourselves. Remember here when we got symbols here, get symbols Apple, we just identified the ticker symbol, and then R gave it a name. And usually the name given is the ticker symbol, just like Microsoft or Meta or Tesla. Okay. However, if you want to give it your own name, let's say, let's copy this. Control C. Let's put it here below. Control V. Okay. I want to get Apple, but I want it to be given another name. So let's say AAPL, APPLE, just an example. Control minus. If I want Apple to give it, to create this object Apple, okay, which is the stock prices of AAPL, then I have to make sure that I insert this auto.assign is equal to false. Because we don't want R to be automatically assigning the name using the AAPL object as the name of the stock. Okay, we want to give it a different name. Let's say AAPL. So if I run this, Control Enter, what happened was, okay, take a look there. There's now an object called AAPL. Okay, and it's exactly the same as your Apple data. Okay, we just gave it a different name, but since what we're downloading is AAPL itself. Okay. Now, in case you forgot this, what happens? Okay, you did not put auto.assign is equal to false. So what will R do? R will automatically create an object called AAPL. Let's remove AAPL first. RM AAPL. I'm going to remove this object. Control Enter. So no more AAPL here. So I'm going to get symbols AAPL. However, I'm assigning this a name AAPL. Let's remove also RM AAPL. APPLE, I'm sorry. Let's remove the name Apple also, the data Apple. All right, so no more Apple. So I'm going to get symbols AAPL, okay? However, I'm going to give it a name, AAPLE, okay? And I did not put auto.assign is equal to false. If you didn't put auto.assign is equal to false, it will default into auto.assign is equal to true, okay? So it will still create the object AAPL, okay? The question is what will happen here? Because I'm insisting that the object be called AAPLE. Okay. However, because you did not put here auto.assign is equal to false, it will revert to auto.assign is equal to true, which is the default. So when we run this, Control Enter, there you go. Notice that an object AAPL was created. It's an extensible time series. However, another object AAPLE was created. And that is under values because it's only a vector of one. Okay? It only contains the character AAPL. So Apple, this name did not become the stock XS object. The XS object was AAPL here. Okay, it was AAPL and not AAPLE. Okay, so AAPL automatically just became a vector consisting of AAPL. It's just like a a name. Okay, it has a say print here. Let's print AAPLE. Let's see what's inside AAPLE. Control Enter. Okay, sorry, wrong spelling. Print APPLE. There. So it just contains this one. It's a vector. It's a character event. Okay, AAPL. Just this one. All right. Again, let me pause for a while and ask you if it's clear, class. The auto dot assign. That's very important. Depending on if you want to create an object with a different name, you have to impose auto dot assign is equal to false. Clear so far, class? Okay, good. Okay, great. Thank you so much. Okay, so let's move on. What happened here? Okay. Let's create another object here, class. This one, okay, you may copy this also. DJIA month. I'm creating an object called DJIA month. And get symbols. We're also using the ticker symbol of DJI. Can just copy the code above and then just change the periodicity. Make it monthly. Let's see if R through quant mode will generate for us monthly data. Okay, please run that and tell me if you were able to create an object called DJIA month, and the data consists of monthly Dow Jones data. All right. Good. Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. I hope the others are also able to follow. I'll also run it. There you go. And I also have my DJI month here. And if I view this, there you go. So this is May 1, June 1, 7/1, 8/1. Okay. And there are only 120 entries, also 6 columns. So this one is now monthly data. And you can experiment, you can make it weekly. I leave that to you, or quarterly. Okay, you can do that. All right, that's great. Okay. And once again, we use that auto dot assign is equal to false. Okay, next, let's create this object class. Okay. All right, let me. Okay. So let's type this together. We're creating this object DJIA. R stands for returns there. Okay, so how do we compute for the returns? Okay, for example, this is our DJIA. Let's take a look at this. Okay, and we're going to make use of log returns. So let's go to the here. So this is the latest data. Let's use the closing price. If I copy this class, Control C, Control V, there. And also if I copy this, the previous day. And if I get if I get the log of this, let's say we're going to use the log returns. So we have first to get the log. Let me increase the log. And then the next one is also the log. So I'm I'm getting the log of two values. What are these two values? The log of the price, okay, on April 19, and also the price on April 18. Okay, so I'll get both logs. I can name it even I can name it even A alt minus, and then I'll name this B alt minus. Okay, I just created two objects, A and B, and A is the log of the logarithm of the closing price, okay, on April 19, and the other one is the closing price, close, DJI close, on April 18. So if you run this, Control Enter, then we have here A and B. Let's print A, B. All right. So we printed A and B, okay? A, which is the log of April, closing price of April 19, is 9.8011. B is the log of April 18. Now, why did we do this? Because to get the log returns, okay, when we take a look at, when you compute for the returns, you're of course taking a look at two dates because you're comparing what happened in April 18, it was this price. In April 19, it became this price. So did it increase or did it decrease? From 18,004, it became 18,053. It increased. Therefore, it's a positive returns. So the formula there is simply get the difference A minus B. Okay. So getting the log and then getting the difference is equivalent to getting the log returns. Okay. So A minus B, A is the log of the price at A, B is the log of the price at B, which is April 18. Control Enter, I get this. So it's around 0.274269%. Okay. So that's the return from 18 to 19. Okay, let me pause for a while and allow you to catch up. Maybe I'm going fast. Okay. My question is, were you able to get this value, 0.00274? Were you able to, I hope you understood, class, what we were doing. I got the log of the closing price of 19. I also got the log of the closing price at 18. I could have used adjusted because in stock analysis, oftentimes you either use the closing price or the adjusted price. Okay. And then got the log of each and then got the difference, the 19th minus the 18th. Okay. And this is now the growth rate or the log returns from 18 to 19. So it's 0.27. Okay. But if we're going to do that individually, of course, it will take time. So what we're going to do is we're going to compute for the log returns of each of these. Okay. So this is how you do it. Okay. Here, okay. So you get the log, okay. Get the log of our data is DJIA, right? Okay. If I type DJIA, you'll have this. You'll have either DJIA or DJI month. I'm interested in DJIA. Okay. So tab. Okay. And then if you press dollar, class, what happens? If you press dollar, R recognizes the object DJIA. And inside DJIA are your columns, open, high, low, close. Okay. So I'm going to arrow down and then there's close and then tab. Okay. So what do we have here? We're now asking R to look at DJIA, okay? And then get the log of each. So what will happen is that R will get the log of each of this. Log of this, log of this, log of this, log of this, etc. Okay, up to here. Okay, which is what we did a while ago for these two stocks. So it will create the log, it will compute for the log of each of this for your whole data set. And then what you do is get the, okay, get the difference. Okay, so let's do this first. Okay, so DJIA, okay, I'm going to create inside DJIA, I'm going to create a column, okay, I'll call it log close. Okay, so take a look at this. This object DJIA, okay, dollar log close, which means that I'm going to create an object called log close inside DJIA, and it's equal to the log of this one. All right. So if you run this, Control Enter, okay, what happened? Take a look at your DJIA. All right. So what was introduced here? A column called log close. So it computed for the log of each of all of this. If you take a look at the here, 19, that's 9.8011, exactly this one. 18, 9.799358, exactly this one. Okay, so we're now able to create a an object class called a column called log close. And then here, okay, what we do now is, okay, let's now create a new object. We call it DJIAR. Okay, and the DJIAR is the difference, okay, of your DJIA dollar, okay, log close. Okay, take a look at this. All right, so what will happen here? It will create this object, DJIAR. It will get the difference of the DJIA log close. So what's the difference class here? Okay, it will subtract diff, this minus this minus this, current minus previous, current minus previous, current minus previous. So that's what it will do. Okay, so a new object will be created. Okay, so let's run this. Okay, where are we? Here, class. Okay, Control Enter. Take a look. You now have a new object, DJIAR. Let's take a look at this. All right. See this, class? Okay. And if you take a look here, at the bottom here, this is 0.00274, which is this one. Okay. It subtracted it. So what are these? These are the log returns of your DJIA closing prices. Okay, let me pause for a while and allow you to catch up. I might be going too fast. And any questions? Any confirmation? Please confirm yes or no. If you got it, class. Feedback, please, class. Okay, thank you, Kevin. Let's wait for the others. Sheena, thank you. Richard, good. Jana, okay, good, good. Well, Sandra, I hope the others are able to follow. If you have any questions, please don't be ashamed to ask. All right. So I hope you were able to follow. Okay, so we could have just created an object DJI. Okay, let's do this. Ret, and then use just one line because here we use two lines. First, got the log and then got the difference. But actually, you can do it at the same time. Difference of the log of our object DJIA dollar, and then we will use the closing price. Okay, so take a look at this class. So we're creating this object called DJI ret, and what we're doing here is first get the log of your DJI closing price, and then get the difference. One step class. Here we we did it two steps. Okay, and if I run this, Control Enter, then we get DJI ret. Okay, same thing. Okay, same thing as the previous one. Now you notice, class, that there's this NA. Where is this coming from, class? This NA value. By the way, class, if you want, okay, let me delete first DJI ret RM, DJIA dollar ret. Let me delete this first. Okay, before I do that, notice that the column name is DJI L close. So are defaulted into something, and I don't want that name. So I remove DJI ret. I'm going to put here dollar sign, and let's say log ret. So what will happen is that it will create this column. Okay, that will be the name of the column. If this is the column that you want, column name, and run it. Okay, and then, oops, sorry, my bad. Okay, no, wrong because. Okay, it did not. Oh, sorry. We have to create first the DJI ret and then change the name. I apologize for that, class. What I did was to give a name log ret to DJI ret, but R did not recognize yet DJI ret because there's no such object. So do this first and then change the column name by doing the dollar sign here. Okay, now let's go here, class. What happens if you get the mean of DJR ret, DJIR? Tell me, please, can you run this? If you get, you have DJIAR, right? If you get the mean of that, or even the standard deviation SD, DJIAR, what do you get, class? What happens if you get the average, the mean of DJIAR? Okay, sorry. What happens? NA, class. NA because, okay, remember that it has an NA here because it has no prior value. Okay, we're asking R to get the difference, but there's no previous date, so no difference, so it will render an NA value. Okay, and we cannot get the mean, the standard deviation, if there's an NA. R would want us to stop and then see what's causing the NA here. Okay, get the standard deviation, NA also. So what do we have to do? We have to remove this. We have to remove this NA here. And there are many ways to do that. One way is to simply DJIAR, okay, and then DJIAR, and then brackets -1. This is for subsetting. Since DJIAR is just one column, So if I put there -1, it means that I'm going to remove the first column. Okay, and then get this, class. Could you kindly run that, DJIAR? Both the standard deviation and the mean. If we run this, Control Enter, so we now have the average and the standard deviation for the log returns. Okay. Were you able to get it, class? Okay, good. Thank you. Thank you, Kyrene. Very good. All right. Now, one other thing, it's almost time, class. Let me just give me just another minute. Let's remove RM. Let's remove DJIAR. Okay. I'm going to remove that. So you don't have DJIAR anymore. Now, is it possible to get the returns? Okay. So here, let's get the returns. Let me go here. Control Alt I, Control Alt I. Let me copy DJIA here. Control C, Control V. So I'm going to create again DJIAR. It's a difference of the log of this one. Okay. And then here, before I close, I can put here NA.RM is equal to 2. Okay, what's happening here? We know that there will be an NA element here. The first element will be NA. So what we can do is to put here NA.RM, which means NA remove is equal to true. So if there are any NAs, you may remove it. Okay, so let's run this. Run. And let's take a look at DJIA here. Oops, wait. Where's my DJIA R? This one, diff log DJIA closing, and then NA.RM is equal to 1212. Okay. View DJIA R. Oh, sorry. So what happened here? 420, 419. Oh, I wonder why it didn't remove. It should remove, class. Okay. Anyway, we'll check this out late next time. Okay. Okay. All right. I don't think. Okay. I don't think we can use an ARM together with this one. So let me use, sorry about this, class. Last, let me use the ret. Okay, and then and ret is already okay. So it's supposed to be here. Okay, I used it inside the mean. Okay. All right. So anyway, we'll continue with this next meeting. We'll take a look at NA.RM. Apologies for that. Okay, I got confused with the diff log, and inside is NA.RM. All right. So let me stop recording now. Okay. So next meeting we'll continue with this, and I will take a look at some other time series, and then hopefully we start already with ARIMA, introduction to ARIMA. Okay, here. But that's in line 400 plus. But we're going to start with that hopefully next meeting on Friday. All right. So thank you so much. I'll stop recording now.